There was a demonstration in London at the weekend to protest against the two-tier policing evident in London, where anti-Israel mobs are allowed to desecrate war memorials and chant for jihad, but British people celebrating St George's Day get kettled, beaten up and arrested. My friend Andy was on the march. He's gay and an ethnic minority. He said he felt very welcome and it was a diverse and good-natured crowd just out to celebrate British values, in particular fairness and equality. Well, let's see how the papers described it. It was described as a Nazi rally by the socialist worker. Yeah, because the Nazis were really big on Union Jacks in Israel. That's probably their two favourite things right there. The country that defeated them and Jews. Now you might think that the Socialist Worker isn't a real paper. It's far left propaganda for socialists, and you're right, but it's widely read in the Labour Party, who all call each other comrade at their conferences. So it's going to be surprisingly influential as we sleepwalk into a socialist nightmare at the next election. Obviously, calling this protest a Nazi rally is stupid, but we expect socialists to be stupid. If they weren't stupid, they wouldn't be socialists. But let's see how real newspapers covered it. The Telegraph, which is ostensibly a conservative newspaper, had this headline: Tommy Robinson supporters shout out hate chant at far-right London demo. I saw this headline and I thought, man, what was this evil hate chant? I've got to read on to find out. And you know what it was? They were singing Allah, Allah, who the F is Allah, to the tune of Living Next Door to Alice. That's not a hate chant. They're not saying anything derogatory or hateful. This is classic irreverent British humour. Geez, they don't like humour, do they? Can you imagine something mocking another religion, like the Book of Mormon or the Life of Brian, for example, being described as a hate crime? It's very revealing. Hate crime laws are blasphemy laws, protecting Islam from being mocked. Even the Telegraph, a supposedly conservative newspaper, is pushing this agenda. Compare this to the excuses made for the other side, when a banned Islamic extremist group, Hizb ut-Tahrir, took to the streets of London following Hamas's attacks on Israeli civilians and chanted for jihad.
The only solution is jihad by the armies of the Muslim countries.
Jihad!
What is the solution?
The Met released a statement saying, the word jihad has a number of meanings, but we know the public will most commonly associate it with terrorism. We have specialist counter-terrorism officers here in the operations room who have particular knowledge in this area. They have assessed this video, filmed by the Hizb ut-Tahrir protest in central London today, and have not identified any offences arising from the specific clip. So apparently a call for jihad, or a holy war, which is genuinely sectarian and racist because it's calling for the death or conversion of infidels, is okay, because jihad has many meanings, including one's own inner struggle for self-improvement. According to the Met Police, Hizb ut-Tahrir were just chanting for some people to read some self-help books, and presumably the terrorist group Islamic Jihad hijacked planes to encourage people to go to therapy. And speaking of the Met Police, this is how Met Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley, the top guy for London's police force, described it.
This weekend we also had a sort of extreme right protest.
Or, according to the Russian-owned Evening Standard, a football hooligan march. Now this demo was attended by all kinds of people, including a large number of veterans, some of whom had lost limbs in service to our country. For them to be dismissed as extreme right, or hooligans, or thugs, rankles with me. I think we all know that if there was a threat to Britain and our cosseted liberal way of life, all the screaming green-haired they-thems would scatter like cockroaches, and it would be left to extreme far-right hooligans and thugs to defend this country, as they have done in every war ever, although I'm not exactly sure why they'd want to do it this time round. The only thing people could complain about was people peeing in the street because there weren't any public toilets. Peeing against a wall, the horror! Why couldn't these bigots have infinite capacity inflatable kidneys? Man, I saw someone take a shit in a welly boot at a music festival and throw it over the crowd, but I don't hear anyone calling Glastonbury a far-right rally, even though it's actually got a very strictly enforced border. If we look at arrests made on the day, according to Mayor Tusi, there were a couple of arrests in the area, but they weren't linked to this rally. Police confirmed it was Real Madrid fans, and then said, to be honest, we were told to expect trouble from your rally, but we didn't get any. Instead, the racism came from the other side. There was a counter-protest by the far-left group, Stand Up to Racism. Here are their cheery little faces. Aren't they having a lovely time? Still, at least they got out of the house. There was more aggression at an anti-Israel rally the same day.
You need to calm down, my friend. You need to calm down.
Israel accept us, you know. You shouldn't have hit me, man.
I'm not gonna hit you.
Yeah, you shouldn't have hit me, man. You shouldn't have hit me.
He's always protected by police.
No, it's just, there's a lot of terror. Whoa, he just kicked me. This guy just kicked me.
And the far left are genuinely hateful. The people chanting, "Nazi scum off our streets," are chanting an actual hate chant. They've dehumanised a section of the population as Nazis, even though they're obviously not Nazis, and are asking for a sectarian cleansing of them. The far left define themselves in opposition to an imagined group of evil far-right bigots, and as well as making the far left hateful, it makes them righteous. It's a dangerous combination because there's no check on their extremism, and it absolves all of them of having to do anything materially good because they see their hatred as a virtue in itself. Carl Benjamin spoke at the rally too. He's been condemned as an extremist. He's not. He's pretty sensible. I would feel way safer leaving my children in the care of Carl Benjamin than in the care of any school teacher wearing a pronoun badge. Look, I'm a 90s leftist who became disillusioned with the ideals of socialism when I worked in the government and saw the waste and profligacy of the state in reality. Now, I don't know much about Tommy Robinson. A lot of people say he's racist. Is he racist, aye? Is he racist like dogs are racist, like laughter is racist, and romance is racist, and farmers markets are racist, and the countryside is racist, and a solar eclipse is racist? Well, he's doing a pretty bad job at being racist, as this rally made everyone feel welcome and was quite a diverse crowd. And people call him a grifter. Trust me, there are way easier ways to make money than being right-wing. As soon as I came out as a conservative, industry doors shut in my face. The BBC would rather hire an actual cartoon paedophile than someone who isn't a Stalinist. I used to believe reputations, but if the last few years have taught me anything, it's that a lot of people get called racist or bigoted or whatever when they've just asked awkward questions or revealed inconvenient truths. If Tommy's a terrible guy, fair enough, let me know why, but I'm wary of joining mobs and condemning people. I became aware of him when everyone on Facebook was furious with him for standing on the pavement outside one of the grooming gang trials, reporting on it, apparently jeopardising the prosecution of the gang. Now, I can understand why this is dangerous. These cases take years to build and are incredibly fragile. But what was weird was I never saw anyone getting mad about the men inside the courtroom and the horrific crimes they'd committed. It was like everyone was fearful of criticising the grooming gangs out of fear of looking racist or culturally insensitive, so they deflected their hate onto the man with a microphone standing on the pavement outside. I wouldn't have been aware of this trial if it hadn't been for Tommy, and I think this gets to the heart of why he's such a pariah. He was exposing Britain's shame that for decades the authorities and polite society turned a blind eye to horrific crimes committed against vulnerable working class girls. He ruined the authorities' strategy of crossing their fingers, hoping nobody would notice, and silencing anyone who did notice. Whatever he is, I've spent the last few months seeing the respectable masses, students, left-wing politicians and celebrities calling for the extermination of Israel, and I've also seen the rise of Islamism in Europe. Everyone can see it. I can't help but feel that the old tricks to smear and demoralise people aren't working as well as they used to. So I've no doubt the first thing Labour will do when they get in is to use hate crime laws to turn YouTube into a Chinese-style censored media. And I've seen how this rally's concern about two-tier policing is real, and that two-tier treatment extends to the media. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you want to buy me a beer, there are links below. And if you want to support me making these videos, you can consider becoming a Patreon to get access to exclusive content and stuff. It's sort of like having a Disney subscription, but with much worse production values. And also, I don't try and turn your kids into genderqueer communists. Anyway, thanks for listening. I've been Leo Kears. Bye. Bye-bye.